Right out of the gate, I'm trying to get the audio levels a little bit better. This stupid thing auto adjusts, and so if I don't talk for a minute, it comes in real freaking hot. Please don't do that, system. I have it set the way I want it. Leave me alone. I've turned off all of the buttons that say auto adjust audio levels, and it does it anyway. Stupid thing. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. I'm Dan Vespris, at Dan Vespris on Twitter. Hit that like button as you're settling in, YouTubers. Hit that subscribe button as you're settling in, everybodyers. This show's brought to you by FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook. And, of course, we are a proud member of the Believe network of podcasts. Big congratulations to my good buddy Adam King, whose show Stuff It is now officially a member of the Believe network. That's also awesome as we continue to grow this thing. Believe Network, man, we're a force. We're a force to be reckoned with in the fantasy basketball space. But listen, you guys came here for fantasy basketball breakdowns, so that is what we are going to do. A reminder, as always, I have a master list. The master list is everybody's rank in the NBA. Where do I believe that they belong? Please, Lord, if as you're going through this show, you hear me say something like, nothing changes for this guy, just go to this. It's in the show description. It's there for free forever. Just bookmark it. You can go back there every day if you want to. It's super easy to find. Like, that way you don't have to wonder what the hell I'm talking about. Now let's get into the actual recappy part of the show. Start with Denver. Why not? They played first at Indiana. Jamal Murray had 52 points, 10 3-pointers. He's having himself a very good year. This is why he was on our list of prime targets, especially once the second round got thinned out quite a bit. That was when it pushed Jamal Murray up the board a little bit. Remember, he had a pre-rank of 29, and he was a guy I was like, look, if you got to take him at 23, 24 around the turn when guys aren't there that you want anymore, you do it. And this is why, because he's good at basketball. Jamal Murray is a mid-second rounder. He's only missed, I think, one game so far, played through a mild ankle tweak in this one. Best season maybe of his career, possibly, and the steals aren't even that high right now. Peyton Watson continues to rumble along. Cam Johnson slowed down a little bit, but he'll be fine. He's still got, it's been better lately. There were a lot of questions about Spencer Jones, who left this ballgame partway through due to some knee stuff. He wasn't a guy I was picking up anyway. I was keeping an eye on what you might do with Denver if Jamal Murray missed the ballgame, but he didn't. So on we rumble. Indiana's a more interesting team anyway. I don't know how TJ McConnell is doing it right now, but he's doing it, and he's doing it in extraordinarily limited minutes of late. Like, dude is top 120 in 17 minutes a ball game. And this has always kind of been the thing with TJ. If he gets a lot of minutes, he can be very fantasy useful. Right now, he's sort of outkicking his coverage a bit on fantasy. He's averaging 12 points, 5 assists, almost 2 steals on 60% shooting in 19 minutes a game with only 1 turnover. So 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. The bottom's going to fall out of that. Yes. It's why I have TJ in the very, very tippy top of the streamer bucket. On the master list, it's categorized as low or medium volume schedule stream guys, but these are like the best streamers. So you don't even need the 3 games in 4 nights. You just need like not a terrible schedule, and he plays for head to head. Not, I don't have the balls to play him in Roto. Jay Huff got yo-kicked in the nuts. I used this joke on Twitter, so I figured I'd use it on the pod as well. Obviously, I know his name is Jokic, but the joke doesn't play unless you mispronounce his name. Huff just couldn't get going. Like, this is about as tough of a matchup as you're going to get outside of, Joel Embiid before his knees exploded. So hold on Huff. Isaiah Jackson remains a streamer. Mathurin is a bit of a buy low right now, although, again, I'm not super high on these guys. Andrew Nembhard, also a little bit of a buy low. Pascal Siakam, if he could remember how to shoot free throws, he's also a little bit of a buy low. And I know what you're thinking, like, damn, this team is in free fall. Why would you buy on these guys? It's the Roto guy in me where I feel like you're still going to get like another 3.5 to 4 months out of these dudes before they're going to full shutdown. And I just, like, it can't be worse. Mathurin's going to be better at the free throw line and from the field. Siakam's got to be better at the free throw line. Nembhard's got to be better from everywhere until they get shut down. Nope, not interested in Ben Shepherd. Let's talk about game number 2. Portland, nice win, Blazers. This is a nice win. You know what happened in this win? Toumani Camara continued to surge. He's been quietly surging lately, and no one really noticed it because there was one really bad game, like 4 or 5 games back, that was kind of weighing the overall numbers down. But if you ignore that game, or now, frankly, he's been good enough even with it, that over the last 2 weeks, he's top 80 on 15 points, 6.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 3.3 threes, 0.7 steals, a block, 48-69 splits. The free throws, for whatever reason, are just not fixing themselves. And over the last week, he's at 19, 7, and 3 with almost 5 3-pointers a game on 55% shooting, because you knew that eventually there was going to be a little bit of a heater to balance out the incredibly cold stretch. So Camara, buy low, has cashed. Other notes on the Blazers. Caleb Love is probably the only other player that you're like, Dan, what do you make of Caleb Love scoring 20 points in this game? He's done this a couple of times, but overall, he really hasn't been fantasy relevant. Like, there was a 26-point game 2.5 weeks ago, and in between there, it was 8, 13, 1, 12, 5, and now 20. So, no, I'm not doing anything with Caleb Love because we've seen about as little consistency out of a basketball player as you could possibly get. If someone was like, Dan, he's going to play 28 minutes a game, I'd be like, yeah, then I'll take a look at him. But there's been the minute consistency, the role consistency, there's been none. Shaedon Sharpe, I maintain, is a head-to-head / points leaguer only. He's in the head-to-head build bucket on the master list. Easy enough. We continue. Cleveland, Evan Mobley. He's cashed. Had him on the buy low board 2 weeks ago. Hope you guys did something about it. Over the last week, he's number 2 in all of fantasy basketball. That'll play. Over those 4 games, he's averaging 21, 11, and 5 with 3.3 defensive stats, over 2 3-pointers a game, and 53-91 splits. You knew it was coming. You just didn't know when. He's pushed his overall season value from about 90 to 55 in 1 week. That's hard to do 7 weeks into a season, but that's how good he's been. Still, by the way, shooting 62% at the free throw line overall. Everything else has been fantastic, arguably better than we expected, except the free throw number and the field goal, frankly. Both percentages have been a bit down. He's well on his way to a second-round valuation. You're not going to be able to buy low after this ball game, so hopefully you did already. DeAndre Hunter has trended down. I've mentioned this before. He's just a streamer at this point for me. Donovan Mitchell rolling along. And then Darius Garland and Jalen Tyson are the 2 other guys besides Mobley that I think deserve at least a moment of our time. Garland is an intense buy low. I had him on the buy low show earlier this morning. Like, it's not going to get any worse than this. He's number 257 in 9 category leagues on 14 points, 6.5 assists, a medium volume, 34.5% shooting from the field, basically no defensive stats, and almost 3 turnovers a game. He's about to rocket boost into the next millennium once he gets fully healthy, because, like, you really think he's going to shoot 2 for 13 most ball games? I don't. Buy low on Darius Garland immediately. Prime, maybe my favorite buy low target on the board right now is Darius Garland. And then Jalen Tyson is a guy you just play anytime he starts. And right now he's starting because the starting center is out. So everybody shifted up a tick, or a couple of guys shifted up a tick, and Tyson slots in on the wing. And bingo bango, 14, 7, and 2 with a 3 ball on good shooting. Just until he's not starting, keep starting him. Spurs, game-saving block from Luke Cornett, who's been on a little bit of a block binge the last, what do we want to say, like 4 ball games? He's starting to settle into that backup to Wemby role. He's not doing anything with it, really. He's at 7 points and 6 rebounds, but he's also at 3.6 defensive stats, 3.3 assists, and 53-92 split. So he's been like this punt points hyper darling lately. And unfortunately, because of that, because you know how fast, like if he has one game where he doesn't block a shot, his value is going to fall like a boulder in the ocean. You have to leave him in the highest of streaming buckets, along with Julian Champagny and Keldon Johnson and Harrison Barnes. These guys are all in the very high streamer bucket, while Wemby and Stephon Castle are out. As I've said before, Devin Vassell is a sell high right now, in case folks are not aware of why he's putting up these giant numbers. And then Dylan Harper was better in this one, up to 22 minutes. That number just inching up a little bit. He is part of my active stash category because it's generally not going to be anywhere close to this good on a nightly basis. And as the team gets healthy, it'll see a dip before there's any kind of rise going forward. So no real changes on really either of these teams. I was hoping for better out of Wendell Carter Jr. and Anthony Black. Both of them shot the ball poorly, or we'd be talking about these games very differently. Wendell just 2 for 9, Anthony Black 2 for 10. If they shot the ball better, you'd be talking about Wendell having basically a double-double with 2 defensive stats. You'd be talking about Anthony Black having about 14, 15 points, 7 and 5. Both of those guys, I think, are full burger-level plays, meaning I don't really care that much about the schedule. I think you can play them until Paolo comes back. Tristan da Silva is the guy that you're only playing when the schedule is good until Paolo comes back, and then probably not at all after that. Whereas Black and Wendell Carter Jr., they might still be streamable, but not full burger level. Clippers finally won a ball game. They sent Chris Paul packing, and then they came out and played better. I don't know that if those are necessarily connected. It was almost like a coaching change bounce. But the most interesting thing in this, well, for one, Chris Dunn had some foul issues, but his minutes trended back down because Kobe Sanders played better. Chris Dunn is just a schedule stream level guy. John Collins is the one that jumps out because for a few games, he was putting up value only because he was the most efficient man on earth. This one is more interesting because he wasn't efficient, but still put up value. You know, he shot 6 out of 13. The key there for me is the 13 shots. Now, Zubats didn't take as many shots in this game. I don't know if that was by design or just what the Hawks happened to be giving up, but it led to more for John Collins. And if that's going to be part of the equation, if John's going to go out there and get you 7 to 9 rebounds instead of 5, if he's going to take 13 shots instead of 8, I'm not expecting 13. He got 3 defensive stats in this game. I think you got to put John Collins in your speculative ad board because if he clicks, there aren't that many guys floating around that have as friendly a fantasy game as Collins. I'm more than willing to accept the fact that he probably won't, and this is probably a one-off, but I'm not going to miss it if it hits. So add John Collins, speculative ad on John Collins. Hawks got blown out, so don't read too much into this game. Just sort of leave everybody where they were on the master list and keep on going. Before we get to Charlotte and New York, it's promo time. Hey, want to thank the handful of you guys that started memberships over the last 2 days. I don't expect it in December, January, February, March, maybe April when you guys come up with wins. That's when I'm hoping more people start to sign up again. But it really does mean a lot to me, those of you that are doing it, those of you that have the 99 cents. I know it doesn't feel like it's a thing that changes my outlook, but it does. Especially if the 99 cents just rolls monthly through an off season where it's almost impossible to have an income in fantasy basketball. You know, May, June, July, and even August, we basically see no money. And, you know, it's not me trying to have you guys pity me. This is a great job. I love it. But, you know, a few hundred members during that time is a big difference. To go from 0 to something, basically. So thank you in advance. If you guys want to become members, you're basically doing it because you want to keep everything free forever. Yes, it does grant you better access to me. YouTube members that post comments on the show, I will see those and respond to them. Patreon members that send me a message, I will see those and respond to it as long as the volume remains reasonably low, which it has so far. So you do get access as well. But again, it's really more about just supporting the cause. So thank you in advance. Thank you after the fact to those that have done it. Please check out YouTube members and Patreon memberships at 99 cents. It's incredibly low. This show, of course, a reminder, is brought to you by FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you want to get down on any basketball action, futures, whatever, you can do it with our friends over at FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook. Also, check out all the links in the show description to get all the free stuff that we do, especially that Google Sheet. That's the one that I am really cranking on this season. There's more stuff in there than ever, especially that master list. That's a big one right now. Check that out. Hey, hit the subscribe button mid-show. You know you want to. And follow over on Twitter at Dan Vespris. And let's talk about Charlotte and New York. Moussa Diabate got the start in this game. I don't know if this is a long-term thing or not, but he should be added immediately, even though the game was bad, which is actually kind of a good thing because for us, since we're doing this podcast the next morning, I can still come on this show and say, hey, don't forget to add Musa Diabate. And there's a chance that he might still be on waiver wires. He's been decent for a long time this year. He's been like at the pinnacle of streamer level guys. Now, the other thing to note in this game is that Kalkbrenner played more minutes than Diabate despite coming off the bench. And, by the way, despite leaving with an ankle tweak somewhat late in the ballgame. So Kalkbrenner might have even seen a couple additional minutes. Maybe this was to keep him away from having to defend Cat and the Knicks starting five. Maybe this was an opportunity to change who Kalkbrenner's playing with and against. But whatever it was, it didn't slow Ryan down, so I'm not dropping him yet. But I'm definitely adding Diabate. That's the big piece of news on the Charlotte side. Colin Sexton also left this ball game with a thigh injury. I think it was a contusion, but I forget. I don't know that that's going to elevate anybody. If Trey Mann was healthy, he'd be the guy that you'd say, oh, well, maybe, but he's not, so I wouldn't worry about it. Meanwhile, hope you guys sold high on Miles Bridges. There was just no way that nonsense was going to last all year. He's down to number 76, which is around where he was drafted, 60. I think he was drafted like 55. That's why we called him a safe pick in that range. He's probably not going to fall much farther than mid-70s. And Con Kneppel, by the way, he's a hold. I know he wasn't that good in this ballgame, but 16 shots is way more than enough. So hold, and we wait on Brandon Miller. No changes for the Knicks. Deuce McBride, very high-level injury stream, not full burger. Josh Hart, cooking. Mikal Bridges, cooking. Brunson, intermittently cooking for 9-Cat. Cat finally had a big ball game. He needed this one, actually, which I know is weird because if you aren't paying super close attention, you probably wouldn't have noticed that Cat slipped into the third round prior to this game, but this pushed him back up into the end of the second round in overall rank. And I think we all figured he would be a second rounder this year. So cool. Josh Hart is up to number 63 after the slow start. Over the last 2 weeks, he's number 14. Yeah, some of that has to do with OG Anunoby being out, but also he's just settled in now. All's well. Brooklyn beat Chicago. Bulls, what are you doing, man? Bulls, what you doing? Yuck. Bulls have lost 5 games in a row. The Nets have actually won 2 games in a row. Oopsie whoopsies. Man, what I would give. I know Nick Claxton had a huge ball game here, but what I would give for Day'Ron Sharpe to get starters minutes, oh my God, I would sell my soul. But we had some good games. Michael Porter Jr. was very good again. He's actually in the 20s in 9-Cat now after this big ball game. Noah Clowney hit 6 more three-pointers. He's on a pretty good little run lately. Again, I've said it before, I think he eventually profiles as more of a guard build kind of guy for head-to-head, but he's above that right now. So keep him going. And Igor Djuman, he's the other active stash on today's show. Again, I don't expect Djuman or Dylan Harper, and frankly, Harper, like, he's on a team that's trying to win, which makes that situation a little bit more murky. Djuman, after the trade deadline, like, he should be getting mid-30s in minutes. So that active stash, he might be nearly the most guaranteed winner of an active stash on the board. Bulls are down Kobe White. Bulls are down Kevin Huerter. Bulls are down Trey Jones. So that gave Ayo Dosunmu a ton of wiggle room, and he's very much a burger play while those guys are out. Julian Phillips, no. Modest Pacelis, bouncing back and forth as per usual. There just isn't another guy. So Dosunmu's the guy who jumps up. I don't know who's going to come back first between any of these dudes. I think Herter's out a week, they said. Kobe White, we haven't been given a timeline. Trey Jones was not a late-ish scratch, not a super late scratch, but a couple hours before game time, he was ruled out. So my guess is that Trey Jones is back first. And if that's the case, then I would start him. Once Kobe White and Huerter come back, then it becomes a little more murky again. It seemed like he was like just on the right side of it, but also like a low upside dude. So, yeah, I mean, you have to take the Bulls game by game right now because they're down 3 guys, and it'll change every single day. But for now, and we'll see who's in and who's out for the Bulls' next ball game, which is when? Today's Thursday. Chicago plays tomorrow, mañana. They've got Indiana at home on an overload day, potentially. Ayo could be that guy. You might even get a decent game out of Ayo and Trey Jones if those are the only 2 guys that are back. This ballgame, Detroit-Milwaukee, was a really interesting game, not for what happened on the Detroit side, because Dennis Jenkins got another start for Duncan Robinson, but he was real bad. Last one, he was really bad, but he had a lot of opportunity. This one, he was real bad without opportunity. Jalen Duren had foul trouble. Isaiah Stewart got ejected. This was a total mess of a ball game. I'm not moving any of those guys around other than to say, like, don't bother with Dennis Jenkins. Jaden Ivey up to 19 minutes. He's slowly working his way there. As I've said before, I'll say it, I'll repeat myself. I think he belongs on head-to-head rosters, not roto, and you're going to have to wait it out. But I think when he gets there, he's going to be a really interesting punt play. But you guys want me to talk about Milwaukee. That's the interesting team in this ballgame. Frankly, Milwaukee is the interesting team from the card yesterday because after Giannis Antetokounmpo didn't have a formal trade demand, but seemed like it was basically a trade demand, came out and blew a tire with a calf strain immediately. 3 minutes into the ballgame. We just got a report as of 6 minutes ago, mid-show, that he's expected to miss between 2 and 4 weeks. Will he still be in Milwaukee at the end of that? I don't know. I guess considering a lot of folks were like, oh God, is that Achilles? This is probably a good piece of news, but still, we're talking about probably a month. I'm going to assume it's more like the 4-week timeline. And that means we got to make some moves here. So what happened? Giannis basically missed this entire ballgame. Who played all the minutes and who got to do the stuff? Well, there were actually a couple things that went on. Miles Turner got in that little kerfuffle, and he ended up at only 19 minutes and 40 seconds in yesterday's game. He didn't get ejected, but he didn't play much more after that because Milwaukee was rolling with a unit that was working. Miles Turner was part of a squad that lost its minutes by 13, and so Jericho Sims came out, played his butt off, and basically got to play the rest of the ballgame. So no, I'm not picking up Jericho Sims. This felt way more like a one-off than anything else. If it happens again, I'll look at it. But they just gave Miles Turner a crap ton of money. He's going to be the guy. So Miles Turner, Kevin Porter Jr., Ryan Rollins are the obvious ones, and those guys are pretty universally rostered in 12-teamers and larger. They should be rostered everywhere. The names that I think we need to discuss on today's show are Kyle Kuzma, Bobby Portis, and AJ Green, not necessarily in that order. But we'll talk about him in that order because why the hell not? Kyle Kuzma had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. The last time Giannis was out, Kuzma was borderline, even in points leagues, and in 9-cat, he wasn't close. So category leagues, I want nothing to do with Kyle Kuzma. I am not adding him in points leagues. You could call him speculative. AJ Green has been on a vicious 3-point shooting tear of late, and at this point, it would be malpractice for me not to put him on a roster. He's going to cool off, but I've said for 2 years now that I need to be more open to rostering guys on a heater. And AJ's on a heater. He's averaging 4 3-pointers a game over the last 2 weeks on 53% shooting from the field. And pretty much all of his shots are from downtown. He doesn't do much that's not beyond the 3-point line. He had 19 points. 15 of them came on 3-pointers yesterday. 2 came at the free throw line. He made 1 2-pointer. He doesn't take 2s. He's a 3-point chucker, but he's great at it. I do wonder how many open shots he's going to get with Giannis out. He got enough of them yesterday, but is that something that we see fade a little bit? Still, he's been shooting his butt off. I think you have to roster him unless you have absolutely no need for 3-pointers whatsoever. In which case, then, obviously you move on. But my favorite of the bunch is, as per usual, old punchy. Bobby Portis, 13, 9, and 5 with a couple of 3-pointers. He doesn't get many defensive stats, but, and you didn't see it in this ball game, typically he's a high percentages center-eligible player who likes to rebound and score. And he's going to just have opportunity now because there's no, the second fiddle in seasons past was Dame or Middleton/Drew Holiday. Kevin Porter Jr. is that guy now. Meaning someone like Bobby Portis is not going to be that bashful about getting out there and getting shots up. And you saw it yesterday. He took 13 of them, which is honestly kind of low for him in 30 minutes. I think Portis is going to get a lot of shots up. He should be inside the top 100 while Giannis is out. He's the guy that I would pick up quickly. Sacramento continues to suck, but Even in defeat, Keegan Murray, in a blowout loss, he still played 37 minutes. He couldn't hit a shot to save his life, just 2 for 11 from the field. But everything else was exactly what you'd want. He had 11 rebounds, a steal, 2 blocks. Like, if your team doesn't make any shots, and if you don't make any shots, it's going to be hard to have a great fantasy line. But again, like, he's 3 made field goals away from having a line where you're like, oh, hell yeah. Because most of them were probably 3-pointers. You know, if he makes 2 more threes, he's at 11 and 11 with 3 3-pointers and 3 defensive stats. And you're like, hell yeah, that's a good ball game. Instead, you're like, oh, God, what happened? I have no fears at all on Keegan Murray. He looks amazing so far this year. Zach LaVine is a buy low. It's not going to get any worse than this. I don't want him all that badly on my fantasy team. But again, like bottoming out, that's when you go buy a player. He's 123 in 9-cat right now. And it ain't getting worse than that. Malik Monk is a high-level streamer. If you check the super board, it's where he's been. It's where he was. Maxime Renaud, no. Nope. I mean, unless he starts, then I'll change my tune. But I don't think we're that far away from seeing Domantas Sabonis again. So keep an eye on that. I'm not picking up Renaud unless they, like, if the Kings come out and they're like, yeah, he's starting the next ball game. Drew Eubanks is donezo. Then I would jump on board. But before then, I'd rather I'll use that roster spot on something else. Russell Westbrook, 12, 4, and 9, but on horrible percentages with 4 turnovers. He is a points league super darling who is going to hover right around the edge of the top 109-cat until Domantas Sabonis comes back, and then he's going to fall below that in 9-cat and probably still be useful in points league. So get what you can out of Russ in category leagues right now because there is a finite amount of time that's going to be the case. But keep an eye on Renaud. If he starts, there you go. You got to buy low out of this ball game, though. Amen Thompson. Oh, a sigh of relief. Finally, a really big ball game. Thank the good Lord. I mean, he's still got a long way to go, but signs of life. Had 3 defensive stats, had the rebounds, field goal percent of 50. I still want better than that. I have no real thoughts on the Houston side other than, thank goodness, Amen Thompson finally had a better ball game. And then all of a sudden, Dallas is on a vicious tear right now. Quickly, let's go through the Miami side. Kel'el Ware had a big ball game off the bench. That's why you hold him off the bench. Doesn't matter where he's playing. You have to hold him. Jaime Jaquez had a better one here, largely because Norman Powell was out, but still not good enough. 22 minutes is not going to float him. Jaquez belongs as a streamer only. Davion Mitchell slowed down, but you're going to hold him. Andrew Wiggins slowed down, but you're going to hold him. Adebayo, Tyler Hero, obviously there's no real discussion points there. So not much changes for Miami, if anything. For Dallas, I mean, this is just another reason to pick up Ryan Nembhard. And we said it a couple days ago, like when he started to have his little breakout, that's a spot where you just have to pick up the guy. You have to. Because, is it going to stick all season? Probably not. I mean, Kyrie Irving, if he comes back, would blow it up. If all of a sudden Nembhard goes into a slump and Brandon Williams starts playing better or D'Angelo Russell starts playing better, you could start to see like a weird 3-headed monster there. And, they're just trying another point guard to see if this is the one that solves the puzzle. And so far, it is. But it's a very small sample size. Teams don't have a scouting report on him yet. And, my guess would be that over the next couple of weeks, he probably falls apart a little bit. But whatever. That's not now. Right now, Ryan Nembhard is kicking butt in a serious way. Make sure he's added. He still wasn't added in a lot of spots last night when he had this ball game after back-to-back huge ones now. I don't know what everybody's waiting for. I get it. It's probably not going to last all year. I understand that. I don't care in this instance. You have to get him on your roster. He's at 43 points and 23 assists with 1 turnover in his last 2 ball games. That's fluky, but also it speaks to what he's capable of. Najee Marshall is a play until PJ Washington comes back. That's a pretty easy one. Cooper Flagg is starting to figure out the NBA a little bit. It helps to have a point guard, like a legit point guard. Klay Thompson, by the way, has elevated himself to 3-point streamer status over the last couple of weeks. In the night, no one noticed, but Klay Thompson became 3-point stream viable. Mavs, kind of interesting right now. And what of poor Derek Lively? He continues to exist in purgatory somewhere. So there you go. That's your Wednesday recap. A lot of fun stuff on Wednesday. A lot of the guys that we targeted in drafts had a really big day. And again, that doesn't always happen like at the same time in conjunction with one another. But when it does, I personally believe that it's okay to just enjoy it. Let's do the quick hitter. The Ray Finkel or the Ace Ventura deep breath. I don't call it the Ray Finkel. He's not the one that did it. Let's do the Ace Ventura deep breath recap of last night. This is basically just me. You know what I can do? Here, I can put this on the screen. Maybe I'll try to do this regularly. There we go. Okay, so a lot of mornings, I will put out the following tweet. Let's get it up on the board. There we go. I call it the recap in one tweet. All the biggest news stuff from the night before jammed into one long tweet. And here you go. J. Huff hold. Tamani Kamara buy low cashed. Evan Mobley buy low cash. Jalen Tyson fill-in expert. Darius Garland buy low now. Dylan Harper is an active stash. Wendell Carter Jr., Anthony Black are burger board holds. John Collins, speculative ad. Ryan Kalkbrenner, ankle issue, but you're holding. Musa Diabate, possible burger play, possible more than that. Add Musa. Ayo is a definite burger play right now. Dosumu with all those guys down. Giannis got hurt, so Bobby Portis is an ad. AJ Green, probably a burger board ad. Zach LaVine, a buy low. Ryan Nembhard, obviously a mega ad. Najee Marshall, a burger ad for PJ. Should have done that a couple games back. But again, we like to remind I have six, like, within the last 2 to 3 ball game ads coming out of last night's card. And a couple of buy lows, Darius Garland being the one that I definitely like the most. So that's your quick hitter version of what happened last night. I would ask you once again to follow over on Twitter so that you'll actually get to see that tweet in real time. It's at Dan Besbris, DanBesbris. Most important thing you can do is subscribe. That's the most important thing. That's how we really grow all of this stuff. Please do subscribe to everything we got going on here at Old Man Squad. And again, you don't have to, but consider the 99 cents. Every little bit does help. Believe it or not, you are a big help. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. That's it for my shows today. That was the twofer. Tomorrow, on Friday, we're going to do a little look at the hottest players across fantasy basketball lately and what that means. Is it sustainable? It's really like, real or mirage type of ball game. And then, of course, we'll have our big week in review. Check out Thunder Dan's Cut List show that dropped earlier this morning. Love it when we get the weekly Thunder Dan visit here on Old Man Squad on YouTube. And I think that wraps us up for the day. Thanks again to FanDuel and the Believe Network. I'm Dan Besbris. I'll see you guys on social. So long for now.